Okay, guys, finally a new controller video because I haven't been posting many of them since last year. But honestly, there's no point in me posting more updates on the same controllers every few months. I'll probably make. I was gonna make like another one when I hit the 1 year mark, but since now I did get the G7SE. I'm gonna make like a buying guide, a comparison between all of the ones I have, just to let you know what my thoughts are. And in case you were thinking about buying one of these three in during this year in 2024, and maybe you were uncertain on which one to get, maybe my opinion will help you decide. And but I did say I will make more videos in case I did get another controller. So here we are. And let's start with the G7 and the SE. Okay, so these two, pretty much they're the same controller, ergonomics wise. The big differences between these two controllers are pretty much on the SE. Also, before we start, I did swap the face plates. So this one is the SE and this one is the standard G7. These two have magnetic faceplates, so you can swap them easily by pressing here and pulling back. But I'm not going to show it now because I have caps on, so I will have to remove the caps and it would be a pain. So you just have to make do with my word for it. But the faceplate, you can change them. So I did swap. I put the standard on the SE and the SE faceplate on the standard. The standard comes also with a white faceplate if you want to switch it. But the special edition did not come with any. You can buy extra faceplates online if you want, but I don't know, they're not very cheap. So I'm not sure if that's worth buying one unless you find one you really like. They do come both with a 3 meters cable, which should be 8.9 feet, more or less. Like I was saying before, the ergonomics and the shape are pretty much the same. They kind of seem like shape-wise they are something you will expect between an Xbox pad and a DualShock 4. Because the horns here remind me of the DualShock 4 a little bit. But the ergonomics, the triggers, and of course the sticks are more in line with an Xbox controller. Also the sticks, the shape of the sticks is what you will expect to see on a DualShock 4, but only the shape, of course. So you can use DualShock caps easily on these controllers. The same will stand for the Kaleid, so I will not repeat that. The Kaleid, in terms of shape of the sticks, they are all the same. But so the caps work on all of these three. PS4, PS5 caps work. Switch controller as well should work. PS5 I did say, and the Xbox not really, because the actual shape of the dome of the top of the stick is bigger than an average Xbox controller. So Xbox caps, like namely Control Freaks, should not work on these controllers. But generic ones do work, because I have used generic Xbox caps, which are a little bit loose. They fit in these as well, because they are bigger. So they can adapt very easily on these ones. But I was saying, Controller is pretty much the same. G7, G7SE. The big differences are the buttons, face buttons. This one are membrane, SE as membrane buttons. Standard G7 has mechanical buttons, so very clicky. Both Dpad and face buttons. So these one are softer. Depends on what your taste is. I personally prefer a little bit more sturdier buttons. So the G7 standard takes the cake here for me. The sticks on this one are all effect sticks. This one are potentiometers. So, but they do work fine for being potentiometers. I'll show later the comparison between the precision of the sticks on Gamepad Tester that I have tried myself. And these do pretty well. What else to say? This one overall feels a little bit softer compared to this one, which is feels a little bit more premium in terms of build quality, but they are both very solid controllers. This is something you realize when you both take them in your hands, so it's not something I can really show you, only try to explain. But this one feels a little bit more solid because also has the grips, the rubber grips, a little bit more comfortable. Back buttons are also clicky and easy to activate in a good position ergonomically. The bumpers are pretty good, comfortable. You can activate them pretty much throughout all the length of the button. Very comfortable, I like them. Triggers are pretty nice too. They have a texture. They have a rough texture here along the surface, but they are a bit too high. So in the longer, depending on your hands, on the longer gaming sessions, they can start grinding a little bit on your fingers. But like I said, depends on your how big your hands are. So keep that in mind. Overall, very comfortable and a little bit better build quality, in my opinion. It also feels more sturdy, a little bit. This one, all the things I've said in terms of buttons for the bumpers and the triggers still stand. So, but no mechanical buttons. The D-pad is softer here. At first, in the standard edition, felt a little bit stiff, so I had to loosen it up a bit after using it, and now it's fine. This one is softer by default because it's membrane. Buttons are membrane. Same thing for the bumpers, are pretty much the same. Triggers as well. They are the same thing. The triggers do have a motor in them, so they'll feel pretty good when you activate them in most games. And the sweet button suit is okay. It's nothing special. It's maybe a bit too flat to activate. But yeah, I really don't use them much. So especially the Xbox button, because I play on PC, so I never use the Xbox button. You activate more, like you activate the back buttons. I mean, not really activate. You map the back buttons. This stands for both controllers. So I'll just show it here. You press the M button, which is this one, and the back button you wanna map together for a few seconds until this light starts to blink, the one above the Xbox logo. And then you press the button you wanna assign or map to to the relative back button. Let's say we want to assign left back button to A, so we press these two together, M and back button, until the light starts to blink, and then we press A, and the assignment is done. So they also both have a jack 3.5, and you can mute it with the opposite button. This one also has an extra feature on the back, which allows you, this is the special edition, of course, SE, which allows you to disable the back buttons in case maybe you press them in a game you don't want them to function. But honestly, I don't know, this function seems pretty pointless to me, because I mean, if you don't want to use them, just don't just remap them into nothing. But I guess this is, I don't know, this feels more like a lazy feature, in the sense that, oh, you don't want to remap your back buttons to nothing, oh, just use this. I don't know. I honestly, I very, very, very rarely activate back buttons by mistake. But in case you're that type of person, this feature is here. You just move the switch and the buttons will not activate. So you don't even need to remap them to nothing if that's your case. This one doesn't have this feature. So I'll also showcase the app and the circularity tests later on in the video. So for now, what to say? I really like these controllers. They are more compact compared to the Kaleid. They are very compact overall. Actually, let me show you this. Just for reference, this is an Xbox One controller. Look the difference in dimensions. Yeah. The difference is not huge, but the Xbox controller is slightly bigger. Overall, very comfortable controllers, I have to say. I do enjoy using them. I don't know, if I had to choose between one of these two, I would say get the SE if you're the type of person who usually gets stick drift. So get the variant with the all effect sticks. But if you're a person who doesn't usually get stick drift, I will also say that standard edition is pretty good, honestly. It's a very good controller because it works on Xbox and PC. So if you're on Xbox, that's your only choice, pretty much. Because I think that you can use the Kaleid with an adapter, but honestly, I have never tried it. So, and like I said, so if you get stick drift, you usually get the SE. Otherwise, you can get this one. Maybe if you find it on sale, it's also very good. But yeah, we'll move on to the Kaleid soon. Now, the Kaleid, as you can see, is pretty much very similar to an Xbox controller, down to the shape and ergonomics. This is an Xbox One controller. It's very, very, very similar. So the Kaleid has, in terms of features, probably the most complete pad GameSir has made. It has all effect sticks, mechanical buttons, it supports turbo, it supports macros, something that the G7 and the G7SE do not have. So this is the most complete feature set. in that sense. The only thing is that it doesn't have rumble motors in the triggers like the G7. I don't remember if I did say in the G7 segment, but the G7 does have rumble motors in the triggers. This one does not. But it does have, like I've said, all effect sticks, mechanical buttons. Dpad is comfortable, clicky. The ergonomics, very similar to an Xbox controller, down to the bumpers and the triggers. Triggers are very comfortable. Back buttons, very clicky, but also comfortable. It has also a 3.5 jack, supports Dolby Atmos. What else to say? Oh, of course, yeah. It comes with a 1.80 meters cable. Don't remember how much it is in feet, but you can Google it. And the shape of the stick is the same, so the same caps that work on the G7 will work on the Kaleid. The thing is that this one works only on Switch, Android and PC. Not sure if it works with an adapter on the Xbox. It's worth checking out, I think, on Google. You probably find the answer. I haven't checked because I play on PC with these controllers, so I don't really need that. But I think among the bunch, this one is probably the most complete controller of the among those three. Also, I'm here from from the future to tell you before I forget that the G7 both to have a friction ring on their faceplates, so to help with that, with friction when you rotate your analogs. Meanwhile, the Kaleid doesn't have them, but honestly, I don't think it's much of a problem. I have found, at least for me. So, and another thing, the sticks, the height of the sticks on the Kaleid is slightly higher compared to the G7. So keep that in mind. Don't put caps that are too high on this one, or maybe if your hands are not too big, it will feel too high. Well, on this one, yeah, you can get away with taller ones since the sticks are shorter as a whole. So keep that in mind. Also, I'm gonna show off a little bit of the sides of the controller, just to let you see the slight difference in height between the sticks of the two controllers. Even though it's not super clear, if you freeze the video, you can tell. And also probably because of the shape of the horns, the Kaleid remains higher because of that. But the actual length of the stick is slightly higher on the Kaleid, I can assure you. So difference is the buttons. Specifically that the buttons on the Kaleid are a bit wobbly, you see. You can do this. While on the G7 they're quite firm, you can't really move them around. Also because they are flatter on the G7, while on the Kaleid they're more bumpy. But on the G7, Look at them. I just can't do the same thing I do on the Kaleid. So yeah, I wanted to mention these two differences because I think they are quite important. Oh, also, I almost forgot. Um, you do assign the back buttons with this one. The same procedure as the G7 applies. The only difference is that you have to press the back button again. So you keep the M button pressed and the back button until the logo will start to blink. Then you press the button you want, and then you press the back button again. So let's say you want to assign A to the left back button. You press M and the back button, light starts to blink. You press A, and then you press the back button again. There's just one more step compared to the G7. Okay, here I'm in Gamepad Tester. I'm testing out the circularity on the G7 standard edition, the normal one. And yeah, I'll show off the circularity test with both the raw mode activated on the left stick and then without. So you'll get to see. Because raw mode it says that it can actually improve the precision in some games, but I don't know. In Gamepad Tester doesn't seem to like it. So like I say, if you freeze the frame, you can read what it does, and you can activate it for both stick. But I tested with it activated and without it, and you'll see the difference in Gamepad Tester. As you can see, without it, the two sticks are identical and perfectly precise, and also good resting values. Here I'm testing the SE. I'll show off also the app in a little bit. But yeah, this is the SE. And I'll showcase, like with the standard edition, the circularity test. Also, yeah, each controller has 3 profiles you can customize. And yeah, this is the app. You can see each section for the buttons, the sticks. The triggers, and finally the rumble motors. So very self-explanatory in this sense. And you can also, like you see here at the bottom where it says 500 Hz, you can raise the polling rate in both G7 controllers, but that disables the jack, the audio jack for now, since it's an experimental feature. And you can go up to 1000 Hz in polling rate. But the thing is that 1000 Hz will only work on Windows 11. Windows 10 is limited to 500 Hz, so keep that in mind. Now I'm gonna be testing the SE on Gamepad Tester, first with raw mode activated and then disabled. And you'll see that the sticks, the precisions of the stick is very similar between the standard, at least in my case, between the standard G7 and the special edition. Yeah, here I didn't activate the test, so I was rotating without the program registering. But now I realize it, and then yeah, I activate the test. Also, yeah, this one has also good resting values for the sticks. And yeah, as you can see, the raw mode makes the left stick less precise, apparently, in Gamepad tester. So I'll go and deactivate, disable it through the app, like I did before with the standard edition. And you'll see that the sticks now, even the left stick becomes as precise as the right one. Yeah, pretty much the same now. So both good results for the G7 and the G7 Special Edition. Now I'll be testing the Kaleid as well, and before I forget, the Kaleid also has the polling rate, just like the G7. You can set it up to 1000 like this one, and it stands the same thing I said for the G7, so Windows 10 up to 500 and Windows 11 1000. You can set it in 1000 in Windows 10, but it won't recognize it most likely. So you have to be on Windows 11 for 1000 effective Hertz polling rate. But the difference with the G7 is that the Kaleid doesn't disable the jack because it's not an experimental feature for now, it's definitive. So in that sense, the Kaleid is better. Here I'm testing the Kaleid on the gamepad tester. I'll show off the circularity test. And yeah, I'll also showcase what happens when you activate the raw mode, just like I did with the both of the G7 controllers. Yeah. Resting value also will be showcased. It's pretty good as well, like in the G7. Yeah, as you can see, the raw mode renders the stick unprecise, at least in this app, in this program. Because when I play with raw mode activated, I really don't see a difference. But on the left stick, at least. On the right stick, I don't think I've ever tried it. But yeah, now I'll go and deactivate and disable the raw mode on the app, and I'll retest the stick to show you it's pretty much perfect, just like the other two controllers. Yeah, quickly check all the other settings if they're okay. It's really cool. You can customize the colors however you want. I really like the LEDs on this controller. They're very cool. But yeah, I'll retest the circularity just to show off the stick is good. And yeah, both sticks are pretty good. No complaints here. GameSir controllers, at least these three have very good sticks. Potentiometers, all effect, doesn't matter. They're both very good. So you can't go wrong with any of these controllers, in my opinion. So G7 and G7SE, G7SE and G7, sorry. And yeah, if I had to get one controller, I would probably get this one. But they're all three good controllers, honestly. You cannot go wrong with any of these. They're all very good, very comfortable. You could say, well, they are not perfect because they don't have 4 back buttons and this one doesn't have all the feature or whatever. But honestly, for the price you're getting them at, around 40 bucks, and you can find them on sale for even less. You can find them on sale for even 35 bucks. You cannot get anything better than this. At least these I have tried myself. I cannot speak for pads I haven't tried, but I have tried these for a while, and they are very good for the price. So I definitely recommend all three. But if I have to choose one, I will probably choose this one. But it's not necessarily the best. That depends on your taste. In terms of feature, this one is the best in terms of features, overall features. But the other ones have also stuff that this one doesn't have. So that will come back to you in terms of choice. You have to decide. But you cannot go wrong with any of these three controllers. Also, one last reflection before I conclude the video. On a showcase, on a panoramic with all my GameSir controllers. But yeah, I honestly think GameSir at this point should just try to make a pro controller, like a proper pro controller, like a around 100 bucks controller, kind of like the Elite. Because the controller they have been making, they are good, no question about it. But they've always been making like these 40 bucks types of controllers, which are good, but there's only so much you can do with this budget. Because like they maybe in the next iteration they remove a feature and they add another feature, and then they add another feature but remove a previously added feature. So like for example, they with the G7SE they added all effect sticks but they removed the mechanical buttons, or for example the latest released controllers by them, the Cyclone, which are very similar to the Kaleid, just that they are wireless. Some things on those ones are a bit worse compared to the Kaleid, for example, from what I've heard. I haven't tried them. And they also cost around 40-50 bucks, more or less. So they keep making these controllers with something better, something worse, kind of like side grades. I think it's time they actually try to make a proper upgrade. So around 80 bucks, 100 bucks range price. I think they have the know-how to make a decent pro controller, but they actually have to try. So in case someone from GameSir ever ends up watching this video, please make a pro controller, because there's no point in making any more 40 bucks controllers. You already made enough of them. So I think it's time you actually make a proper pro controller. Maybe one or two models, but do make one, please. Okay? Yeah. Thank you. And as usual, if you have questions, let me know. Yeah, the buttons here are very much similar to this one, very clicky, but very flat as well. The button suit, I mean. So yeah, if you have questions, let me know, and I hope this video will be helpful. And as usual, if I do get another pad, I'll make an update. And see you on the next video. Bye bye.